Congressman, I got to ask you this question here. Politico is now reporting that your fellow Congressional Black Caucus member, Marcia Fudge of Ohio, who was considering running against Nancy Pelosi to be the Speaker of the House, she has decided not to, that she is going to endorse the Speaker. She said that she is being promised by Pelosi to work to protect voting rights and assure her that, quote, the most loyal voting bloc in the Democratic Party, black women, will have a seat at the decision-making table. Just your thoughts on, so this clearly, so although you have individuals out there who are trying to keep Nancy Pelosi from getting those 218 votes, no one individual has stepped up. Just your thoughts on Marcia Fudge throwing her support behind Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi.
Marcia Fudge is probably one of the most articulate, thoughtful people that I ever sat down with. And I sit down with her often. I've been on the phone with Marcia quite a bit over the last several days. She told me on I think it was yesterday or the day before, that she had been given great thought to how she should move forward, and that she thought that she was going to move away from any thought of running herself, that she really believed that Nancy Pelosi would keep the agenda that she feels is important out in the forefront of our caucus, because she is very, very interested in voting rights. I've seen Marcia Fudge just get very emotional when she talks about how the 1965 Voting Rights Act was gutted. When she talks about diversity, Marcia was very, very engaged in Stacey Abrams' campaign down there in Georgia. And she called me when she saw that statistic that indicated that 76% of white women in Georgia voted against Stacey Abrams. She was really upset about that. She said that, you remember down in Alabama, 98% of black women voted for Doug Jones. And then on the other side of the coin, around 56 or 58% of white women voted for Judge Moore. Marcia was upset about that. I mean, really very emotional about it. And she really wants to see our caucus move forward forthrightly on diversity issues, on restoring the Voting Rights Act, on doing what is necessary for those people who have been so loyal to the party. I saw a study released on yesterday, someone sent it to me last night, that indicated this whole blue wave was really jump-started by the black vote. Yet you don't see a whole lot of credit being given to that. A lot of people don't realize there will be 9 additional African Americans serving in the Congress this time, come January, if all goes well. And so Marcia Fudge really, really was upset by some of the language, some of the comments that she heard, and people not giving proper credit to what African Americans have done with the Democratic Party. And that's what had her really concerned. But she told me on yesterday that after giving a great thought over the weekend and discussing it with her family, that she was not going to move forward in the challenge to Nancy Pelosi, but that she had some discussions with Nancy. I think it's been publicized. They met before we left Washington on Friday. And then after mulling over that, she has decided that she's going to vote for Nancy, going to support Nancy, and I think she says going to support the ticket of Pelosi, Hoyer, and Clyburn.
Well, we certainly will see what takes place there. Again, we know that you're running to be the majority whip, Congressman Clyburn. Glad to have you. Can't wait to have you back in the studio to spend some time with us. Of course, we are down here in Jackson, Mississippi, covering all the angles. And I hear you, but I tell you what, there's at least one show that gives black folks credit for what took place on November 6th, and that's Roland Martin Unfiltered, which is why we're here, because there are no black news shows on black cable news networks. There are no other shows that's blacker than we are, and that's why we're here, to be sure to tell our story so nobody else is controlling the narrative.
Well, thank you so much for doing that. You've always been upfront with that. You've never been ashamed or in any way abashed to really tell it like it is. And I really appreciate you for that. And thank you so much for doing that. And I hope that your listeners down there will respond in a way that will make us all of us, proud to be Americans. I've been saying throughout this campaign that overarching everything this year, we can talk about health care, affordable housing, student loan debt. These are big things. But overarching all of this, I think, is America's goodness, the basic goodness that we always had, even when it was a lot of inequality. There's been a basic goodness about people. The guy in the White House today is sowing seeds of discontent, discord, and it's going to be disastrous if we don't check him. And the best way to check him is to send an African American from Mississippi to the United States Senate. That would send a signal like none other to date.
Congressman Jim Clyburn, we appreciate it, sir. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. As we transition into the holiday season, this is the time when people are started thinking about giving and also sharing. And sometimes the best gift is when you actually present an opportunity to yourself. Our friends at Transatlantic Real Estate have created an investment opportunity for the everyday investor involving legal marijuana and crowdfunding. Now, to get started, go to marijuanastock.org. You must complete and confirm your application to participate. Go to marijuanastock.org, marijuanastock.org, for you to get into the game. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.